Hello everyone, I'm Illinois Fire Alarms, and this is going to be board test 7. So for today's board test, we will be testing out the manual release function of the system, as well as showing off some new features and additions. So let's see what we have new on the board. So first up, as you can see, we have a new addition to the system. The key switch has made its return, and you may have seen it in the National Fire Alarm Day video, as I didn't do a very good job to cover it up, but it has quite a minor function on the system, so it wasn't too big of a deal. So if you may recall, the previous function of the key switch on the system actually used to be the manual release station, but now the key switch is just simply a non-latching supervisory. So it is wired up to zone 4 of the panel, and once activated, it will create a non-latching supervisory, basically meaning it will temporarily put the panel into a supervisory condition. It will pulse the horns, and once the key is taken out, the system will return back to a normal condition. And the LED is now wired up to what I believe is NAC 2, which is the horn NACs, so it will pulse with the horns. Next to the key switch, we have our pull stations. First up, we have a Thorn Autocall 4050001T, and over there is a Cerberus Pyrotronics local alarm MSI-10B. Full model number, I believe, is MSI-10BLFA. Of course, previously addressable, now conventional. Continuing, we have the final change to the system. As you can see, the releasing device is now an amber strobe opposed to a clear strobe. Now, of course, amber probably wouldn't be the correct color to use in this configuration, but I only did this simply because it just makes it easier to differentiate when the other strobes are flashing, as last time it was quite hard to tell when this strobe was active when the other ones were also active. At some point, I would like to get a red strobe for this, since I believe that would be the correct color, but for now it will be an amber strobe. Still set on 15 candela. So continuing on with the new devices of the system, as you can see, we have this quite interesting combo here. This is a Simplex 2901-9840 with a Federal Signal valves. As you can see, the valves is covering the Simplex logo, so it almost appears as it's a generic device, but of course it isn't. And I don't remember the strobe candela of the valves, but obviously it is quite low since it is a frosted strobe. Still, nonetheless, a pretty neat combo that I'm wanting to make for a little while. Next to that, we have a System Sensor 100 series smoke detector. Full model number is 2112/24S, and has a strange model number because this is the 4-wire version. Next, we have a device you might recognize from an old video. This is a CPG V1971, which has a 15 candela strobe. And finally, we have a System Sensor 2400TH. So let's begin with the manual release station. If you're not aware of how this station works, it is a way to immediately activate the system into pre-release discharge and then following up into an agent release. It's basically a way to manually activate an agent release opposed to having it automatically done by smoke detectors. So once I pull this, the system will go into the pre-release discharge in 120 beats per minute, and then after the 15 seconds of pre-release discharge has been completed, the system will go into agent release and the horns will sound in continuous. So here we go. So, as you can see, our releasing device is active, as well as our other two. And the system's manual release LED is on, indicating that a manual release has been activated. And you saw how in the pre-release discharge, it also pulses with the horns. So now, let's reset our station here. And then let's do a system reset. So now let's go ahead and test the rest of the system by doing our automatic release. So we're going to start out with the system sensor smoke here. Alright, so now let's initiate an agent release by activating the other smoke detector, the 2400. I keep missing the button. There we go. System has gone into agent release by both smokes. So now let's do a reset. There we go. So now let's test some of the pull stations. So first pull station that we're going to test today is the Autocall pull station. Here we go. Alright, now let's attempt to reset this pull station left-handed with a screwdriver, of course. Not too bad. Now let's re-alarm with the local alarm MSI-10B. Not sure how many of you get mad that I don't acknowledge the system right when it goes off. But anyways, let's go ahead and now simulate the agent release with the fire suppression station. So, there we are. So let's of course go ahead and finish off the system by resetting the pull stations. That thing is violent. Very, very violent. Not sure what made the spring so strong in that. I have no clue. It's very scary. Sorry if my arm is blocking this. And now, let's go ahead and do our final system reset. So that is going to be all for board test 7. Stay tuned when we test out more functions such as the key switch as well as the abort station. So that will be all, and I will see you in the next video.